Preparation is easily the most valuable thing that you can afford yourself on a film shoot. But at the same time, having the flexibility to kind of go back and forth between different ideas and to kind of have that ability to make things up on the fly is really important. Everybody, whether you write your own scripts or you get another script and you're directing it and you're kind of turning that into your own process, everybody has visions in their head of what they want it to look like. And I think a big mistake that a lot of people make is going into their productions with only that vision in mind and striving for only that. I'm lucky that usually I'll kind of get swept up in the momentum of production to the degree that I just don't really have time to worry about kind of the pedantry of really specific details like that, and it doesn't look exactly like the shot list or the storyboard. But I think even just on a general note, you can go scene to scene or shot to shot on detail, but you can also go on a really wide variety of things. Just, the whole general story of the film may change from beginning to end of production. And I think that being resilient to that is more often than not a bad thing. You're going to get more out of your movie if you just kind of go with the flow. And on this, specifically on the Stomp, I really didn't have the time to worry about details like that because I was acting in it too. I was one of the two leads of this movie. So I really didn't have time to kind of sit down and drive myself nuts with the details.
I mean, I'll be seeing. I know that this is the angle of trajectory, so it's fine.
So how did I prepare for this? Well, initially the idea for the script came from me just standing at my balcony one night and seeing a bus pull up, and I kind of had this rear window idea pop in my head about somebody either getting off of a bus to give me something immensely valuable or someone getting off the bus to kill me. And I wound up combining the two ideas in what resulted in the final script. So I developed the script, and pretty much right when we were supposed to go to camera, COVID hit and the lockdowns happened and quarantine began. So we had to postpone, and that was kind of a blessing and a curse. The movie's primarily shot at night, so the advantage of shooting in March was that the sun sets earlier. We don't have to start later than we would if it was the summer. But that was kind of a disadvantage at the in the end run. But by the end of the production, it was actually a really big advantage to have that extra time to prepare and to basically get every single detail of the production down so that on the shoot night there wasn't really much we had to do in ways of improvising or coming up with things on a fly or last minute changes or problem fixes like that. We kind of knew what we were getting into well in advance. So the shot list for the Stop was by no means extensive. Nor was it really organized in the way that a shot list for a larger production would be, but it both gave us kind of the flexibility to be able to go off book without having to worry that we wouldn't have coverage for the edit and things like that. So it really at least assisted me when I was on camera performing that role. And kind of trying to balance that between that and directing, it allowed me to kind of have the peace of mind knowing that we had every shot that I needed to go into the edit, and that we wouldn't be missing an insert somewhere, or we wouldn't forget a reaction shot or something like that. Shot listing is pretty much invaluable when it comes to calming nerves, not only for a director but for, I would say, most of the crew. Because it really does just allow you to if anything, be more flexible with the shoot and come up with things on the stop or on the shoot to basically develop what is going to be your final movie. Normally on a production, what you would want to do is sit down with your core production team and develop a shot list that way, but of course under these circumstances that wasn't possible. Then to complement the shot list, I did something that I'd never done before, which was an extensive previs. So I shot and lit the entire movie as it was going to be shot on the night, just on my own. And this was really, really helpful because it allowed me to work out the kinks in certain shots, and even like things down to the details of, that light shows up in the reflection of the window. So I don't want to get that light in there, so we're going to have to change the lighting in this situation, things like that. So not only did it provide that kind of, test method for me to actually work out the technicalities of the shoot, but it also provided me a really great resource to be able to send to the rest of the crew, and to sort of show them, okay, here's literally a play-by-play, shot-for-shot demonstration of what the movie's going to be. It also gave me a really good understanding of how long it was going to take to shoot these things, setup to setup, and what time is the sun going down to the minute. So it really, really was helpful, and it's something that I will definitely be utilizing more often. Probably not in such an extreme measure as I did before. I doubt that I'll ever shoot an entire movie, previs style again, but for more complicated sequences, it really, really proved to be invaluable. It was a crude demonstration of what the final movie was going to be, but what's really interesting is that you can actually watch the final film and kind of see the crossover elements of, decisions that were made from the shot list that were changed on that previous shoot that actually wound up sticking around in the final movie. It was also really important to me to kind of look at this project as more of an exercise than a film. We were, of course, emulating Hitchcock's style intentionally, which honestly proved to be a pretty interesting kind of stylistic lesson, almost like a lesson in stylistic discipline. Because there are a lot of points where, whether it was me or another crew member coming up with different kind of ideas on the day, and we kind of had to look at it and go, well, is that something that Hitchcock would do? So not something that I would carry into, a larger production with me, especially with a larger budget or a larger crew. I wouldn't really do that, because at that point you should be kind of making your own decisions and using your own voice. But it was really interesting. It was actually a lot of fun and kind of a good challenge to try and figure out, how would someone like Alfred Hitchcock shoot a movie like this, and shoot this script, and even just playing with, just the stereotypes of genre can be a lot of fun, and you can learn a lot and learn how to bend those rules from doing exercises like this. And a lot of the decisions that we made were because it was so low stakes. So, one thing that I would never recommend is directing while acting. At least for me, I'm a very visual director, and I like to often operate camera and be very directly involved with the lighting and the lensing of a project. And when I'm standing in front of the camera acting, I really had to discipline myself to not check the playback and stuff like that. And I was really lucky that I had a really, really great crew, Mandy, who kind of did double duty as kind of a supervising director and first AD, and Blair, who did excellent camera work. And I knew, having worked with them for ages, that I could trust them with the shot list that I had written and the script that I had written, and that I didn't have to, again, go and check playback after every take. Or if it was somebody else, doing the camera work or something like that, I wouldn't want to be in that position where I feel the need as the director to not be able to see what's being shot, and then have to go behind the camera and actually, check those things out. That just slows down the whole process. So one of the reasons that we made that decision, though, was that I knew, I've been acting for almost 2 decades, my entire life, so I knew that I could pull off the role fine. I'd written the movie, and I kind of knew what I wanted for that role, and I also just didn't want to, on a safety level, I didn't want to bring another person onto the set that we might not know, or that might, have a different circle of people that they're with, just given the current circumstances. So I just kind of bit the bullet and decided to fall into that lead role position. And it was really stressful for me. Again, it was something that I really have no desire to ever do again. But because of my great crew, because of the, Eva and Evan on sound as well, and Rio, my co-star, I was able to kind of have a peace of mind at the end of the day that, everything was going to go well. And the shoot did go really well. And a lot of that, again, is thanks to the kind of low stakes of it all. I think we all were just kind of up for a really fun challenge. And that's what this turned into. It was more of, again, as I said, an exercise rather than like a full production of a film. So I did wind up being really happy with how everything turned out. Even on the night of, I remember kind of again, like, even though I was stressed because I was kind of being driven silently insane by just having to balance, delivering a role and directing a set. And just, because of the crew that I had that was really, really great and really on top of their own jobs. And because of things like the shot list that just, kept everything kind of in order. And just the extensive preparation work that we did on it. Everything went really smoothly, and there was never a moment of real strife or negativity. I think that positivity on the set is one of the most valuable weapons you can have as a filmmaker. If people aren't happy, if your crew's not happy and your cast isn't happy, then it's going to really show on screen, and it's going to make for a worse experience, and people are going to be way less likely wanting to work with you again. So that was, again, another one of my top priorities with this project was making sure that everybody was happy on set, and I think that everyone kind of had that mutual agreement to go into this project and just, again, have fun with it, and just kind of have a low stakes technical exercise that we could all play around with, and it turned out really well, I think.